just wanted to do a very quick live because there were two stories that I wanted to talk about. Number one is a story that I've just posted about the mystery of the disappearing photographs at the Kardashian party. Suffice to say that you can read about that on the Substack, but to cut a long story short, Harry and Meghan didn't want their pictures shown, and that's why they were taken down. They ticked a box saying no, and the pictures were posted, and it looks like they made representations and the pictures were taken down. So that's that. The other story that I wanted to talk about that is a bit more serious. So I first reported this last night. There was just a quick story in the Telegraph saying that this guy, Gavin Burrows, who is a sort of private investigator, I won't refer to him as dodgy or shady or anything like that. He's got a clean criminal record. So I'm not in any way impugning Mr. Burrows's record. He has given what I would say is a very significant statement to the High Court, saying that he completely repudiates an earlier statement he made, saying that he was involved in the bugging and tapping of Harry's phone, that he put listening devices in Harry's car, and Elizabeth Hurley's car. So just to back up, there's a big legal case happening, scheduled to kick off in January next year, which is the last big case. Do you remember Harry had all these different cases scheduled? This is the last big one, and it's very lurid allegations against associated newspapers, saying that they put listening devices in people's cars, that they intercepted their phone calls. Well, we know about intercepting voicemails, but this is a whole new level, that there were listening devices in cars, that landlines were being tapped, and so on and so forth. A key part of the reason that the case is being brought is because of the testimony of Gavin Burrows, who is a private investigator who in 2021 issued a lengthy statement, about 30 pages, 25 pages, detailing all of this extraordinary stuff that he was alleged to have done at the Mail and the Mail on Sunday. Now, there's been some sort of chat about this for a couple of months, that Burrows had apparently rode back on those claims. But the detail that was finally released yesterday at the High Court, so they finally yesterday released Burrows' statement, which I've got hold of today, which I'm shooting from this rather odd angle because I want to be able to read my screen. Again, a very lengthy statement, 30 pages from Gavin Burrows. The key section of which reads as follows: I do not recognise either version of the purported witness statement of 16th of August 2021. I shall refer to these documents together as the August 2021 witness statement below for convenience, but I do not believe that it is my witness statement. I believe it was prepared by others without my knowledge, and that the signature is not mine. I do not accept the accuracy of much of the contents. I shall provide a detailed commentary on each paragraph of the August 2021 witness statement below. But first, I would like to refer to my dealings with Graham Johnson and other members of the Hacked Off organisation leading up to the period in which the August 2021 witness statement was apparently prepared. So that's the core of it. Basically, he's repudiating his witness statement, on which a great deal of the plaintiffs, that is the basis on which the plaintiffs went forward with this procedure. So he then talks about his first meeting with Graham Johnson. Graham Johnson is a convicted phone hacker who sort of gamekeeper turned poacher, a bit like this other figure who's not actually involved in this, called Dan Evans, who's another convicted phone hacker who then sort of claimed to have seen the light and works for, hacked off and this kind of stuff. It's a really, really shocking statement. I mean, look, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know, but what's going on or who says what, and I, would be aware that legally, I have no reason to disbelieve this guy, right? I mean, this is what he's saying. I'm not going to stand here and say he's lying or he's made it up or anything like that, and I'm categorically not saying that. What I am saying is that their key witness has basically recanted the statement on which the whole thing stands. So, yeah, sorry, just saying, just for those people who've just joined. So, what's happened is that a private investigator who gave a detailed account of lots of illegal methods that he used to gather information at the Mail and the Mail on Sunday in a 2021 witness statement that is the basis of Harry's phone hacking case against the Mail and the Mail on Sunday that said he bugged cars and all that. The private investigator has now renounced the statement. In fact, he's done more than that. He said that it wasn't his statement at all. He calls it a purported witness statement, says that he never signed it, that the signature is not his. Now, I've been in touch with Harry's office today. They just say, look, they're not going to comment on the legal anything while the trial is going on. And of course, that's exactly what you would expect them to do. But this is really, really serious for this case. I think it's scheduled to kick off in January. I would have to question now whether there might be a renewed effort to settle. Associated are very adamant that they have always said that they're not going to settle, that, the only way that it'll be settled is if the plaintiffs drop the case. And so I just don't know where this is going to end up. And he extraordinary. He says I've been reading through the whole thing. This is one bit that I wanted to read to you. So this is Gavin Burrows. He says that, and this statement that he calls the purported statement was made in 2021. He says, in early 2023, I read a newspaper article in a British newspaper, the gist of which was that a claim was being brought against the Daily Mail by Baroness Doreen Lawrence. She's one of the co-plaintiffs, based on evidence that I had been able to obtain from ex-police officers who had worked on the investigation into the murder of Stephen Lawrence. So Doreen Lawrence, an amazing woman whose kid was murdered in a really shocking crime that actually the Mail were incredibly important in bringing the alleged killers, identifying the alleged killers. So that's why people were quite shocked when Baroness Lawrence decided to sue the Mail. It was in the afternoon, so he carries on. This is Gavin Burrows' witness statement. It was in the afternoon, and I was in the old town in Marbella where I was staying. A British couple got up and left. Excuse me. And I saw they had left a British newspaper on the next table. I found the article in the inside pages. The article referred to me by name as the investigator who had gathered the evidence and described me as a master of the dark arts. I was outraged by this, as I had not been able to get any useful evidence from former police officers to support a claim by Baroness Lawrence as referred to above. So he says that, and then he goes on, I made contact with the Daily Mail. So he calls this false information about evidence obtained by me. He says he made contact with the Daily Mail, and then he prepared a statement going back to 2023, in which he first said that this statement of 2021 was false. I do not recognize the earlier witness statement, August 2021. I believe that my signature on that document is a forgery, and a lot of it is not written in my type of language. It's, it's extraordinary. One thing that he says is that in this document, it says that he was doing stuff in 2003, 2004. He says that he couldn't do because he was undergoing a stress-induced breakdown. So, it seems pretty far-fetched that he would be. Anyway, It just goes on, it's completely false. I did not do any work for the Mail on Sunday. I have no vivid recollections of such work. I would never have described Gavin Johnson as a trusted representative. It's really, really shocking. And I don't see where Harry, where their case goes from now. I don't see where it goes from now, because if the key document on which they brought forward a lot of their claims is now dismissed, the line about us laughing over a tape recording of Hugh Grant is a complete lie. All this kind of stuff, it just goes on. And he goes very methodically through the whole statement, just picking apart the language, saying that the language doesn't sound like him, saying the words don't sound like him, saying the facts do not represent the truth of what he was doing, and just bringing up these actual, instance where just by logistics he couldn't have been doing whatever he. It's bad weather here, and we've just had a power cut. So there we are. With that, I'll bring this to an end. Thank you very much.